inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love that.
What's up, Betters? How we doing? I hope everyone can hear me. Let's check video and audio. Let me know in the chat. Make sure everything is okay because I got a new mic, y'all. Okay, I got a new mic, and I just want to make sure I have the levels right. How we doing? Just give me a thumb. Okay, exploding cable. That's what I'm talking about. What a name. Great. All right, guys. So very excited for today's stream. And as you guys know, I haven't been doing a lot of live streams at all. But I did one not too long ago with Clint, and I'm doing another one tonight. And I'm going to keep doing more and more. So we're going to build up our live streams like we had them before. And I can't wait. So tonight is a very special one. Clearly, I released a clip, I guess, from my upcoming documentary, a raw clip. People thought that was the video of the Skywatcher landing. I'm like, no. I explained at the beginning that that's not the video. So I released this video, which I'll show here in just a second, just like the meat and potatoes of what the conversation has been. But essentially, the claim was that Skywatcher has landed a craft with NASA present. All right. So we're going to break down that statement in today's episode because I actually reached out to different members of Skywatcher and I got a response and I have a statement I am going to share in today's live stream. And I think you're going to be surprised. So, got some people joining me, as you saw from the thumbnail and the title. Josh from Polarity is going to be joining here in a little bit. That's an up and coming channel. Up and coming. What am I talking about? That guy's crushing it right now. He has such a great channel, y'all. Honestly, I'm so impressed with that guy and so impressed with his everything about him. His presentation, his attitude, his style, his editing, his determination, his ambition. It is unmatched right now. He's got this very youthful, passionate approach, and I'm a little jealous because I'm in my 40s now and I'm losing some of that steam, and it takes a little bit more to get the engine going, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So Josh is going to be coming on, joining us, and very excited to hang out with him and talk with him. I have been on his show before. If you want to check out that interview, it was really great. He's a great interviewer as well. And as well as Carl Crusher is coming on to answer some questions about, the story he shared with me out in the Utah outback, if you will. We were out in, out there in Utah near the Zion National Park. And that's where that clip took place. And that's where Carl talked to me. So I asked Carl to come on and answer some questions and maybe clear up some concerns. And I have some questions myself to go in further. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to hang out, talk about Skywatcher, and this particular claim. And I'm going to share that statement from Skywatcher as well. And we're going to talk a little bit about psionics too. I just want to get into that. And of course, all kinds of other things that we're going to get into with the chat with y'all as well, of course. So, but yeah, everyone will be jumping in here little by little. So, I'll tell you what is an old tradition for our live streams that we used to do. If y'all remember, I used to do this at the beginning of all my live streams, which is I'm in Florida right now. Let me know in the chat where you are watching from, and I'm going to shout it out. So let's see where we got. San Diego. Oh, I love San Diego, man. Great place. Ann Arbor, Michigan. Let's go. Redmond, Washington, Illinois, Tucson, Canberra, Australia. What's up, Marky? Anchorage, Portland, Oregon, Maine, Manchester, England, Bowling Green, Atlanta, Virginia, Hoboken. There we go. Rochester, baby. Baltimore, Western Australia, Boston, Kentucky, Malaysia, South Australia, Northern Sweden, Bay Area, Texas. Let's go, Texas. West Union, Ohio. Dublin, Ireland, Quebec, Canada, holy South Dakota, Langley, British Columbia, y'all. International, y'all. We are international. Sydney, Australia, Geneva, Switzerland, Pennsylvania. We got Phoenix, Arizona, West Virginia, Sweden, Victoria, Frankfurt, Newcastle. Holy shit, y'all. Is someone here from every part of the world? New Jersey, Essex. Wow. I'm quite impressed. Pace, Florida, Indiana. Excellent, guys. San Antonio. Thank y'all so much for jumping on this. Really, really appreciate it. Shout out to everyone who's watching all over the world. Look, why don't we while we're waiting for everyone to join us, well, everyone, Carl and Josh here in a little bit, let's take a look at this clip, right? That started it all. Now we're not gonna watch the whole thing because it's like 12 minutes long. But what we are going to do is just watch the meat and potatoes of the claim right at the beginning, and go from there. No, Marky, Josh is not late. He is not late. He's coming at just the right time. All right, let's see here. I'm going to figure this out. Okay, I want this. Beep. Okay, so again, we're just going to watch the meat and potatoes here, and again, let me remind y'all, you know what? Let's do this. So, okay, right here, you see this image? See that image? That's what I'm going to show y'all, except the lights are off. So this is the image. This is the framing. Let's say this is the same camera angle. This is the camera that the clip comes from, but I had to turn the lights off while we were filming. Now I did have other gear going and all of that other stuff, but I was just putting out the raw clip so y'all could hear it. No editing, no processing, no nothing. Just so you know, there's no craziness going on. But it will look much different in the final presentation. So just so y'all have an idea. So in the background, y'all can't see my my mouse, but there with the light on, that's Carl Crusher, right at the foreground right here, right? And in the very back, that guy with the hat on looking up, that is Gino from the Y-Files, who accompanied me in Utah for the whole trip with Carl, and as well as all my adventures in Arizona as well. So let's play the clip here. It's really just the beginning where it kind of gets sad because I didn't want to bury the lead. I put it right at the beginning. All right, here we go. Yeah, Skywatcher.
But I have a lot of this that I've caught on night vision that I can send you as examples of.
How is Skywatcher going to catch something that they summon with psionics?
They have already.
They've already captured something?
I know for a fact that like people from NASA and the military have already been there with them and they've had a landing.
Holy shit.
Now, don't they say there's certain different styles of craft? Did they say 7?
Yeah, but some of them could be the same that appear different ways, you know, like the difference between a tetra and a manta ray are like hard to tell other than the way that they move, and they could be the same thing, just move in different ways, you know.
All right, so look, there's way more to that clip, but we might come back around to it. But again, it's a 12-minute clip. I'm not really going to show it on the live stream. So you can find that. It's the most recent video, the daily videos. If you haven't seen the rest of it, it's like 12 minutes long, because Carl does go on to say other things about Skywatcher, and we talk about a lot of different things in there. But that statement at the beginning is what that's the big thing, right? That's the big statement that Skywatcher has landed a craft. And when he says craft, he means UFO. And we mean a non-human intelligence craft, right? An alien spaceship, if we're just being real. They landed it, and NASA was present. Now, I get it. We have a lot of questions when we hear that. And in the moment, I didn't ask. There was some follow-up questions I probably should have asked in the moment, and I didn't do that. And that'll give me an opportunity with Carl today. But to the moment, we're just shooting shit. We're literally just sitting back there talking. I got hours and hours of conversations in there, and I'm filming and I'm running all this equipment. So I just didn't ask the right follow-up questions in that moment. But for instance, when he says NASA is present, what does that mean? Like an official representative from NASA was there? Like NASA was officially there, or just someone who works at NASA went on their own time there? You know what I mean? Does that make sense? And landed a craft. What do we mean? 10 feet in front, 300 feet, 5 miles away? How do you know it landed? What about the event made you think it landed? Did you literally, like, right in front of you, you saw it land? Like, that's, or you assumed it landed because of where it went, or that sort of thing. And what happened after it landed? Did you also film the takeoff? Did you capture it? Right? Where are we at with this? So there's a lot of questions here, which we'll get to. And if we remember, Skywatcher initially in January of this year, that was their big promise. They were going to land a craft and capture it and present it to the world, essentially, within 12 months. They promised essentially 12 months disclosure, right? And people were wondering, right? We're months in, what's going on? They stopped all the field operations, and this may be the reason they stopped field operations, because in their mind, they have accomplished their goal. And that's where we're at, right? So, all right, let me, hang on one second. DIY Camo Guy says, Project Gravatar? Poster says summer 2025. Last day of summer, September 1st. Also, is anyone seeing hangar doors near S4 on sat maps? DIY Camo Guy. All right. Well, all right. Look, we'll change the subject here temporarily. Summer 2025. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Clearly. And hangar doors near S4 and sat maps, I don't know. So if anyone has, let DIY Camo Guy know. And so he says, thank you so much, DIY Camo Guy. And by the way, I'm looking forward to the Project Gravatar documentary. Whether you believe in Bob Lazar or not, I think it's going to be well worth watching. I got a chance to speak to Luigi in Contact in the Desert about a lot of the film. He's the director of it. He's a really great guy, and he's very open to people criticizing Bob Lazar, and he totally understands. And he's just like, look, watch the film. Watch the film. Great. Love it. Can't wait to see it. Trailer looks great. They did a lot of great stuff with VR, and they just did so many cool things in that, in it. So just that alone will be exciting. So, all right, y'all, let me just check some messages, make sure I'm not missing anything from anybody here. All right, we're cool. Okay. Jason Allen says, have you had any follow-up with Jake Barber? Is he going to make it in your documentary? So yeah, I'm happy to answer that question. And this fits right into our topic for today. So I actually did send a message to Jake Barber about this statement as well from Carl Jr. I did not get a response back from Jake Barber to confirm or deny if they had landed a craft and NASA was present. But I did get a statement from someone else in Skywatcher, which I will reveal here in just a moment. But I did follow up with Jake about filming with Skywatcher, and he had put me in contact with the CEO of Skywatcher, and my producer Glenn and I on the documentary have been communicating with the CEO of Skywatcher to, attempt to film with Skywatcher. Right, I'm doing a documentary about psionics. It makes sense that I would go film with Skywatcher. Unfortunately, at this moment, there is no opportunity for us to go film, and not just us. They're not allowing that for anybody at the moment, and that's where they left it with us. But let me be clear, transparent here. They've been nothing but professional and courteous and respectful the entire time. Every communication, everything, it's been very respectful and courteous. But unfortunately, that's not going to happen. I'm not going to be able to film with them. Am I disappointed? Yes, of course. I wanted to film with them, but it's not like they're filming with others and not with me. So that's at least something. But maybe now we know why they're not filming with anybody, because they potentially might have accomplished their goal. So that's where I'm at. Now, Skywatcher itself will be in the documentary, because I asked several people about Skywatcher. I got a lot of different people's take on Skywatcher and what they're doing and this and that. And just like these things with Carl, right? I pretty much asked everyone about Skywatcher that I came across at some point. And I probably did about 50 interviews for the documentary. So I've got a lot of stuff. And when I'm finished with all that, with the documentary, everything that clearly there will be so much content that I have from, all the, I'm doing an hour and a half interview with somebody and only use 3 minutes. There's a whole interview that everyone's going to want to see. So we'll be releasing all that once it all comes out. I got a lot of great interviews with a lot of great people. And don't worry, most of it's evergreen, meaning we don't talk too much about current events, except maybe Skywatcher, but most everything else is just psionics and consciousness, and it's just very evergreen content. So anyway, very excited to show that. But look, guys, all the weirdos out there, how we doing? Are y'all ready? Let's bring up to the stage. I wish I had the Chicago Bulls music to play right now, lasers and stuff, because I want to bring up my next guest up to the stage here. You know him as Josh from Polarity. Welcome, brother. How we doing?
Good, bro. How are you? Nice to be here.
Killing it, man. Thank you so much. I apologize. I know it's early for you, so I appreciate you you jumping in at this hour.
That's all right. Yeah, a little bit earlier than normal, but we got the coffee, so we're good to go.
Me too, man. I'm doing coffee, and it's 8:20 at night. I do coffee all day. I don't know about you, bro, but I love coffee.
I think most of us do. I was just saying the other day, I think if you're a weirdo, you probably live on this stuff. So, it is what it is.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, man. I love the weirdos thing for your channel. It works perfectly and it's great. And I'm happy to consider myself a weirdo too, y'all. So
hell yeah.
Right. And look, if anyone's not familiar with Josh's channel that's in here right now, I don't know what's wrong with you. Go check it out. Go subscribe. I put a link down in the description to go support Josh. So please do that now.
Thank you.
Absolutely, man. Let me let's throw up this real quick, Josh. Please ask Josh about Jake Baba. Oh, got it.
So,
okay.
Yeah,
I got it.
he's
Baba.
Well, I think a lot of my stream just enjoy the accent, and when it comes to saying Jake Barber, it kind of comes out like Jake Barber.
Yeah,
so I think
Jake
that's
Barber.
what they're referring to.
Yeah. No, I love it. Jake Baba. Yeah, I think what all Americans think, it just reminds me of shrimp on the barbie.
Yep, same
That's
thing.
all I think of, right? Yeah. No, dude, love the accent. Are you kidding me? But we have an accent to you too, right? I mean, what's the difference?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I forget I have one.
Yeah, of course. You don't think you have an accent. You're like, I just talk. It's like,
yeah, that's it.
It's like, what do they call Chinese food in China? Food.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
DIY camo guy again. When are you having Red Panda Koala on? Sorry, off topic. No, that's okay. Love RPK. I've tried to get Red Panda Koala on several times on the show, and it's just Never happened. He's got his own thing going. We do lots of spaces together and talk and all that stuff. And I've definitely wanted to get him on the show several times. Every time we go to set it up, it just never happens. And Red Panda, if you're watching, stop procrastinating. Let's get this
He's
going.
an elusive man. He's an elusive man, Red Panda. I've had the same thing with him as well. Super nice dude. Like every time we chat, he's so nice, but just kind of never happens. But yeah.
He doesn't do a lot of interviews. That's not his thing. He does
Yeah.
he does the spaces. You know, you want to talk to him, you go in the spaces. That's pretty much where you're gonna get him. So, but I get it. But I am trying. But Josh, before we kind of get rolling on things, how you doing, man? How things going?
Yeah, good, dude. Things have been going good. Been just sort of sticking in my own lane when it comes to the UFO stuff. Like I've been kind of exploring all realms, not just UFO, but we've kind of been getting into some few darker things recently, like, you know, the whole Satanism stuff. And yeah, it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild because I would say, in my opinion, I think there are links to it all. Like I think it's at some point, from UFOs to consciousness to other realms, entities in other dimensions, and then, you know, I think it can link to whatever these Satanists are doing as well. Like I do think there is a thread that's just that's weaving it all together. I can't detail exactly what it is, but it just feels like it's all connected 100%.
Like the phenomena, you're saying everything out from the fun, it's just all maybe coming from the same source, or what do you mean by connected?
I just think, you know, when we're talking about, well, I mean, like when you look into UFOs, and I'm sure you know this, like it seems like as soon as you dig a little bit down, at some point the road starts to lead back to like something occult, whether it's Scientologists, whether it's Aleister Crowley in the desert, you know what I mean? Like it all seems to filter back to this weird, like esoteric realm. And then when you realize that like a lot of the elites in like Hollywood and politics, and not all of them, but a lot of them are also involved in like weird ritual practice and Bohemian Grove and this suppression of knowledge and science. I feel like there is some kind of thread that weaves it all together, but I'm not sure what that is. Still working that one out.
Yeah. Hey, please, if you figure it out, let us know. No, that's cool, man. No, I dig the stuff you cover on your channel. You definitely cover way different stuff than I do, and that's kind of what I like about what you do. And I think you've clearly made a connection with a lot of people digging into what you do. And I really love your approach to it. And I don't know, what's like, let's say, for instance, the most recent live stream that I just watched today, actually. Well, for me, it was this morning. For you, it was last night. About, what's his name? Alex
Collier.
Collier, yes. Tell us a little bit about that. Like, that's so interesting to me, this guy, because you did a two-parter about him. But clearly, it you know.
Yeah, so he is he claims to be an Andromedan contactee, right? So I know straight away a lot of people have already probably turned off the live stream after they've heard that, which I understand. Like I get it in a way that it's so out there, but I think what I'm just so interested in is that I understand that there are definitely people out there who make up bullshit to try and make a bit of money or whatever, right? Of course, there's always going to be people like that. But, this guy's been doing this thing for like minimum 30 years. And when you watch that interview of him in the 90s, the way he's speaking, like I really believe that he believes what he's saying. And that's what interests me the most. And that doesn't mean I believe it, but something's happened to this guy, whether it's some kind of like, thing that's happening in more of like a dream realm or some kind of like other state of consciousness where he's been given this information or something's downloaded into his mind where he has enough conviction to speak about it in front of all these people. And, not just a once off. The video that we watched was from the 90s. He's still doing it. He's still doing it. He's still on YouTube doing the same thing and, talking about reptilians and all this kind of stuff. And it's crazy, 100%. It's wild. But the fact that he's talking about it with such conviction, to me, it's just like, I just find it really interesting. And I don't just discredit it. I like to just listen to it, absorb it, and just add it to the pieces and, see how it all kind of like fits together. And yeah, I'm just interested, man. That's really what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what does crazy even mean anymore in this? I mean, it's like, what's
It's
if
the new
someone?
normal.
Well, yeah. I mean, someone will be like, someone will tell a story and they'll go, "Oh, that's fucking crazy, dude." So anyway, time traveling interdimensional aliens, and you're like, "Wait a second, you just said that was crazy, and now you're talking about time traveling interdimensional aliens. Like, why is this
Yeah.
any crazier than that?" Crazy starts to lose its value a little bit here. It's kind of it's all crazy. So by default, it's almost all normal in this.
Yeah. I think I think when you were on my channel, we even talked about this where I was saying like how it's interesting that people subconsciously seem to draw their own line of like what is crazy and what is too crazy. And because I think you came on the channel not long after Lieutenant Colonel John Blitch did his interview on News Nation,
Yeah,
where he was
yeah,
talking about the praying mantis ripping his face off.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I just, and because I remember a lot of people on X were like frustrated because this guy was, we're hoping for like, mature disclosure and the disclosure that we want. And then this guy who was in charge of nuclear weapons apparently is telling us about a 7-foot mantis ripping his face off. And that's too crazy for some people. And I just find it funny how, like, like you said, we're all good to talk about UFOs and summoning them with psionics and, coming from another planet. But then 7-foot praying mantis, not too far. That's too crazy.
yeah.
It's like,
Too
well,
far. Yeah,
it's all pretty crazy, really.
it absolutely is. Yeah, I take every story at the same face value. It's I want the same thing from every story. If you want, for me personally, if I'm going to be more compelled by it, is I'm always willing to listen. I'm always open minded. I'll always listen to a story first, like whatever it is from whoever. Then now the next step, if I'm going to look further or look deeper, there has to be some sort of evidence or proof brought along with it, and that's where things start to fall apart. Is step two for a lot of stories. But initially hearing it and thinking it's crazy, no, and not every story has to be immediately decided. Is this real? Is this not? Do I believe this guy's? You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know if
Yeah,
that's that important
yeah,
either. Like, you don't have enough information to really decide one way or the other. You know what I mean?
exactly. And I think you could apply that to pretty much this whole topic, right? And I do try to encourage people to do that. Is a lot of the time people are like that, like they're almost frustrated because they don't know whether they believe someone or not, or they just want to make a decision. But I just try to remind people that you don't actually have to. Like, no one's forcing you.
Yeah.
You can just like hear it and stay on the fence, maybe until a month or 6 months, and then you'll feel a bit more conviction either way.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, man. Real quick, I'm so sorry. Carl's asking me for the link on Twitter. Okay, boom, just did it. All right, great. So, hey, real quick, have you heard about? Well, maybe not. You might have been out of the realm. But I released a video yesterday that's I don't know if it's going viral. I don't really know how to judge that, but definitely people are talking about it, which is
Yeah, I
part of
checked it
what.
out.
Okay, so basically just to claim that Skywatcher has landed a craft and NASA was present, right? So the guy that told me that in the video is coming on the live stream too to help answer
Yeah,
some
yeah.
questions, and we can talk to him and figure this out. But when you initially hear that, Josh, what are your thoughts, just raw, like about that or Skywatcher or whatever?
Initial raw thoughts are I'm sus, and
Sure.
that's just because I just feel like, I mean, the radio silence from Skywatcher has been kind of weird.
Yeah.
The whole refusal to allow independent journalism there has been weird. The just there's like the people potentially backing and propping up the project. Like, there's just a lot of things about it that I think it's kind of normal to feel a little bit sus about what's going on. And also, like, yes, that was their goal. Their goal was to, land a craft and whatever. But I think, like, we need to remind ourselves what they're actually saying. Like, if that's what's actually happened, that's insane. Like, think of like they've landed a craft and what you can go up and slap the roof and kick the tires. Like, that's crazy.
It's
But
crazy.
I'm
I
open.
know.
I'm open to it, man. I'm open to it. But
Sure.
yeah, it's wild for sure.
Yeah. No, absolutely, man. I think most people feel that way. I'm sure Carl feels that way. What's up, Carl? How we doing, man? Thank you so much for jumping in here, dude.
Hey, I appreciate it. No problem.
Absolutely. Good to see you again, man. It's been a minute. It's been almost a month
Has it
since I
really
left you
been
there in
that long
Utah.
since you were up
Dude,
here?
right. Yes. I mean, that's crazy, dude. A whole month has gone by. I know. It's kind of insane.
I'm
That it's
just
been that long.
now today editing episode 2 of what I filmed when you guys were over here. So it's been pretty
Oh,
fun
yeah.
going through that footage.
Oh, gosh. Absolutely. There was so much, honestly. We did so much. Yeah, no, that's great. Well, Carl, let's
Did
know
I
where we're
start a
starting.
shit storm for you, Patrick?
Yeah.
This is
No,
what you
hey,
get, dude. I warned you when you met me. I warned you.
no, dude, are you kidding me? I live for this stuff, dude. I don't. This is what we do, right? This is what we do.
Yeah.
It started a shitstorm, but I think a necessary shitstorm. I think it's good to talk about this stuff. I think it's good to kick the tires. I think it's good to kick the hornet's nest every once in a while. I think it's good to keep people on their toes. Like a coach in practice, it's like, come on, you fucking pussy, let's go, get that shit, let's go. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Yeah, you know, I honestly, you probably got more shit for it than me, man. That's the truth. And I was worried about that, to be honest with you. And I definitely just didn't want you to feel like you were out there alone, which is why I wanted to bring you on here in case you wanted to just whatever. I just want to make sure that, you don't feel like you're left out on an island with this. And if you wanted to address any myths or bullshit that people are talking about and, that sort of
I
thing. And
feel Patrick, I feel fine and I feel confident. I'm totally comfortable swimming in this, being on here. The only reason I was late getting on here, I'm not trying to dodge anything. I was literally just on another committed phone
yeah.
call that I had to take. That
Oh,
was it.
yeah.
And it just ran a little long. But yeah, I don't
Absolutely. No,
care.
no.
Like, yeah, Mick West and Green Street, they do it to anything. And honestly, everywhere that I go, anywhere that I've researched, and anytime I've gotten close to anything that's been real, and I've started to try and share it and talk to people, the same kind of things happen. People try to, it's the same kind of crowd pops up and they try to do whack-a-mole and they try to shut you up and they try to make you look dumb. And so to me, it's just another sign of like that you're onto something.
Yeah.
That you're close, because where there's smoke,
Absolutely.
there's fire. People are gonna, you know, accuse you of being a grifter or doing that. But I'm like, listen, watch and see. Just watch and see. Like I don't. When I sit there in the back of that truck, I am just a guy talking, and everything that I'm saying is third hand. And that is a reality. But there's a reason and a time and a place where I've decided that I was going to say that. You were supposed to wait till next year to release it, but hey, here we are.
That's fun. I mean, that's fair. And I wasn't going to release it initially. But honestly, looking over the footage of it, we were like, oh, I don't even think we're going to include this in the thing. So we might as well just kind of a teaser to kind of just, you know, show somebody about the documentary and kind of get a little press about it and kind of, just get going about it. I honestly did not think it would be this big, if I'm being real. I really did not think that. I really thought it would just fly under and just be like any other little video I put out and no big deal. But
Yeah.
that may have a more bigger presence than I thought. Maybe potentially, I don't know.
Well, it's just because it's not me. It's like I can go over to Project Hestelin and work with Chris Lado and work with all the scientists over there. And we do psionics that night at the cabin. We totally summon a UFO, film the whole thing on camera. That's all going to be coming out on a episode on the Discovery Channel, maybe like in the next week or two. But
Hell yeah.
nobody cares. There's something about Skywatcher because everybody on that team comes with the receipts. They've all got that credibility and they all have that background that when anybody talks about them that may have a connection, it's like all the heads turn because and I think it's for a good reason. And that's part of the reason why I said what I said, because I think it's ridiculous to think like we hear the news coming out about them like oh the team is all broken and fractured and these things are going on, but like when does that ever happen in these types of programs in the past? So you're like, for example, the remote viewing program that Hal Puthoff basically built at the Stanford University, you're either in one camp or another. You either believe that, oh, the government killed that program because it was ineffective and it didn't work. So it ran its course, it went to a certain level, and then they lost their funding and it was gone. Or you're in the other camp where you realize, well, when you've actually dug into it, or you know people that worked in the program, you know better and you say otherwise. You say they didn't kill this program, it just got compartmentalized or bought out or moved into something else because it worked. And
Yeah.
everybody else that's supposed to be left in the dark is just told, well, they ran out of funding or whatever. So like here we are again, and everybody just believes that the whole program is dead or gone, or that like the team is fractured, the leader just left or took some contract or whatever. Well, why do you think? It's because what they were doing, I'm going to say for a fact that it was effective. It worked.
So
And
you
so what do
think
you
that? So we're talking about James Fowler, right? James Fowler left Skywatcher and is now moved to contracting with the DoD, and you think he left because they accomplished
I
their
don't
goal?
think because he was bad at his job.
Well,
I don't think it's
that's a
because they
fair
didn't
point.
want him there, like that's
Yeah.
my common sense would just say that like whatever he did became important. That's what I would
Well,
say.
no, that's fair. And look, let's jump into this, Carl, because I haven't told you this yet, Carl, but or maybe I put out a tweet. You might have liked it, but I actually got a statement from someone at Skywatcher about this claim that I can share. Okay, so I'm going to do
Sure.
that.
I have no idea who it is. I saw your tweet and I was like, who the hell else was he talking to? Like, who?
I mean, I reached out to, I text with different people and I just reached out. Hey, can you confirm or deny this? What do you think? And, fair. And I did get a response. But first thing I want to do, and I did it earlier before Josh was even on, like right at the beginning of the stream. So we have a lot of new people in the live stream. First of all, shout out to everyone that's in the live stream. Thank you so much for joining and hanging out with us. We're going to break this down. So the first thing I'm going to do is play that clip real quick, just the meat and potatoes part, Carl, just so get that out of the way, right? That's a statement. Then I'm going to share the statement that I got, and then let's just go into, just talking about it.
Okay.
So let me figure this out. Bro,
You got
live
it, bro.
stream shit is
You got this.
it's like all of a sudden I have to do something. Oh shit. Okay, what button do I hit to just bring this video up? Boom. Okay. There we go. Just like 20 seconds. So again, this is what all the hoopla is about, y'all. This first part. To this clip of Skywatcher.
But I have a lot of this that I've caught on night vision that I can send you as examples.
How is Skywatcher going to catch something that they summon with psionics?
They have already.
They've already captured something?
I know for a fact that like people from NASA and the military have already been there with them and they've had a landing.
Holy shit.
Real quick, this is what we're looking at, y'all. So it's pitch dark because I turned the lights off so we could see the sky and stuff. But this is basically what we're doing. We're sitting in the back of a pickup truck. Carl clearly here, very excited about something. He just saw Gino as well. So Gino from the Y-Files in the very background there, and Carl right here in the foreground there. But that's the same image, because some people, Carl, were saying that they thought that was the video. They thought that was the Skywatcher video.
Oh,
that I showed because it was dark.
looking
Yeah,
for evidence, like
yeah.
in the reflections of my.
I
That's
guess.
funny.
Like they thought the lights and stuff because they didn't watch the beginning of the video where I explain everything, so they just cut straight to it and thought this is the Skywatcher landing video. Like what? I'm
No.
like, no. That's what the fuck? That's first of all, we're talking in it. So what do you like? Doesn't make any sense. But anyway, all right. So let me read this statement.
Who's it from? Are you
Okay,
allowed to
so
say?
Is this your anonymous source now?
yeah. Okay, so everyone knows I hate anonymous sources. I don't use them. I've been very clear about that so many times on my channel. I mean, so many times, and I'm about to break my own rule.
Aye.
I unfortunately have to keep this anonymous, and to be fair, it's my fucking fault because this is a person I do talk to. Not, I wouldn't say definitely not every day, but just every few weeks, a month. We try to just DM some honestly kind of off-topic shit, just regular life shit. And I sent him a message. You know, he's from Skywatcher, and I asked him about this to confirm, but I didn't explicitly say this is for on the record, even though I wrote it. Can you confirm or deny this? You know, I didn't explicitly say this is on the record, and they answered it without knowing that. They thought it was an off the record response to me. And when I was like, no, I'm going to share this, they're like, you know, please keep me anonymous. Like, I can't share my name. And I was like, fuck, I fucked up. So I'm going to respect them, and I'm not going to reveal who they are out of respect for them because
Is it a name we would know?
It's my fault.
Would
Yeah,
we know
absolutely.
it if we?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's with Skywatcher. Someone that absolutely knows, like without a doubt. I don't. They would know. Okay, so there's no question for me. But yes, do I wish I could share the name? Absolutely. And I asked him, can I please share your name? Like, and he apologized. I know you don't like doing this. I said, no, dude, it's my fault. I fucked up. I'm the one that fucked this up. So it falls on me for not explicitly stating that initially. Again, because it's just not something I do, and I just didn't follow the right steps. And I take that shit very seriously, discretion and privacy, and I take it very seriously. So I'm not gonna. By no way would I ever out this person in no way, shape, or form. But the statement is this. So I said, would you want to confirm or deny the story I released yesterday? Skywatchers landed a craft with NASA present. They wrote, I can't say, but I am familiar with that situation. Sorry for the vagueness. Not my place to say. Now, kind of confirming it, but not. It's kind of an interesting statement. They're not denying it, but they're saying, I'm familiar with that situation. What does that mean? You don't, would you be familiar with a lie? No, you wouldn't be familiar with the lie. So it's interesting because Gary Nolan responded to this on Twitter, and he wrote, that's news to me. But he didn't deny it.
Right.
So I'm gonna say that this kind of backs up what Carl said. Now, I'm not saying that this actually happened and that this is a real thing, but what Carl said has been confirmed in my opinion by other people from Skywatcher, and I think that's important. Carl's not just talking out his ass. You know,
Can I ask,
again,
Carl? Can I
yeah,
ask
go ahead.
where are you coming from with that? Like, what are your connections to Skywatcher, and like why are you so you said you know for a fact, like what is that about?
I from my perspective and point of view, like I know enough people around the team and in the team and media sources that have been present at different events. And I'm sorry, I have to be a little bit vague in what I say too, but just the same way that, like, if you found out like someone that you knew died or something, you would get a text from one person, and then you would hear a story from someone else, and then and then you see it announced over here, and then you kind of, if you have any kind of deductive reasoning, to me, it's obvious what occurred. Now, I will say this, and I should clarify that, like in that clip, I say, oh, there was a landing, but when I say, I should clarify, you know, calling one down doesn't necessarily mean that it was captured. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that there was an something where they went up and like had like an entire thing where there was a crash or a recovery or anything. But I mean, you can look. I don't know if has Jacob Barber deleted his X account yet? Is Jake Barber's
Don't think so.
Twitter account?
Is that going to
Yeah, I mean,
happen?
he has a picture on there uh with him with a person from NASA obviously out there.
Let's see if I can find one.
The one thing that I think about, and maybe Carl, maybe you have a bit of information on this, is like, obviously this has been their mission since day one. They said they want to bring down a craft and whatever, and that they can. But like, what is the point in that? Like, if this is some kind of craft or whatever it is, what are they doing? But like, because to look at it in a human lens, like, is that theft? Are we stealing someone else's craft? Like, what is it? What is actually happening?
Yeah, that's where it gets confusing because the different intentions, depending on who's there or the motives of what's going on, you know, the great majority of a particular group on the team, their intentions just could be to exchange wisdom or to expand humanity and to progress disclosure, just like, all of our intentions are and what we would like to see happen. But that doesn't mean when the rubber meets the road and something real occurs and all of a sudden there's something to be made off of it or there's an advantage to be had, that there isn't other elements that can move in and take over situations. I've had similar things happen where as soon as when I was working at the location over in Nevada, um, as soon as we got down to where we were communicating with something underground and receiving transmissions back that seemed to be some form of communication, all of a sudden all these people that were not on the original team showed up, and the project sort of gets hijacked. It gets sort of taken over in different ways. I'm not saying that happened with Skywatcher. I look at Skywatcher and the caliber of the people on that team, and I see the odds of them achieving successful results with the right people there was just probably really high. And I say that I know that as a fact for myself, but I can tell you that all day. I don't have the proof. It's still going to be a third hand story every time I say it to you guys. But
Sure.
I know for myself, just because of the friends that I have and the people that I know, to me, it's a given that they were successful, obviously. And because of that, certain members of the team and potentially some of their ability to do that moved on into something else or was
Something
or was
else, yeah.
bought out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you firmly believe that this happened, Carl, that they landed this craft and NASA was there
I
when it
believe
happened.
that they called one down with somebody from NASA there. Yeah.
Got
And
it.
I personally believe that that's a fact. And I believe
Yeah,
that in time will show that that will be validated.
sure.
Whether the thing actually landed and they captured it or how far that goes, I don't know. I
Sure.
don't know all of that, but I'll just tell you, like, yeah.
You believe it. Yeah. I looked at Jake's Twitter account. It's not deleted, but it's a picture of an American flag and just his regular profile. So he might have changed that. But, I have a question about the NASA thing, and not sure if you can answer it, but just curious. You might have the same question. Like, was it someone who worked at NASA who went on a personal trip there, on their own time, or was it like an official representative from NASA there on the NASA dime? Does that make sense? Like they're there for officially for NASA.
I honestly can't say.
Yeah, right on.
I just
Got it.
can't say. Yeah.
Yeah. I hear you. I mean, that makes a huge difference at the end of the day when that comes about.
I know.
But
I
either
know.
way, still cool that even someone from NASA would be interested. You know what I think? I think Tim Taylor. I think Tim Taylor would be the perfect person from NASA to go to something like that.
He's
So
the one that was with with Bledsoe, right?
yeah,
Same
Bledsoe,
guy.
exactly. Psionics, right? That's what he does. That's his whole thing. Yeah, he's known as Tyler D and Diana Pasolka's book, American Cosmos. As anyone knows, Unvetted, I've covered Tim Taylor extensively, done deep dives, got great videos. I'm obsessed with the guy in a lot of ways, and probably in too much, to be honest. But I just find him fascinating. He's a NASA mission controller, deeply interested in this. So that's interesting that if it's not him, that means there's more people at NASA interested in this type of thing with psionics, and that's very interesting to me, to be honest with you.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that were
Right?
interested in what Skywatcher were doing for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, all right. What was there? Of course, anything I ask, Carl, just if you don't want to answer, just don't answer. But I figure I'll just ask, and
Yeah, I'm
tell
good.
me you can tell me to fuck off. Just no problem.
We're good.
uh,
Obviously, like I'm here talking to you because there's a part of this that's okay. Like, and what I'm
sure,
saying is okay.
sure. Do you did anyone after I put my video out? Did anyone from Skywatcher, I don't know, reach out or say something or
No comment.
bombard you or okay, no, fair enough, fair enough. I
No,
just
it's all
you didn't
good.
get yelled at
I'm here
essentially.
because
Okay.
it's all. I'll just
Yeah,
say that it's all good.
yeah, right on. I mean, look,
I haven't everything. Everybody's freaking out, and it disrupted everybody on Twitter.
yeah.
But
Good.
between me and my friends and people that I know, it's you
All
know
good.
what? It's a Tuesday.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
These
the
guys are
person
used to
I
getting
spoke to
shot
wasn't
at.
upset either. Yeah,
These
well,
guys are used
that's
to
a
getting
good point.
shot at. They're used to this is
Sure.
nothing, like they don't care
Yeah,
about Twitter.
these are verbal
They
bullets. These-
I'm not saying
yeah,
anybody contacted me or whatever. I'm just saying like if they had a problem, they definitely would. These guys are the top of what they
sure,
do. They would definitely
sure.
if they had a problem with me, I wouldn't be here right now for sure.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's good to know. Yeah,
Yeah.
they weren't the guy I spoke with wasn't upset with me either, right? About putting the story out at all.
Right.
Do you know
So
what the holdup is with episode 3? Like, why has what there were because like the first two came out in kind of like a similar cadence, and then it's just been like radio silence.
yeah,
Yeah, I honestly don't know. I could speculate the same reasons just because, of particular incidents that occurred, and then there was a chain of events that happened, and now everything's kind of like in a
changed.
different tangent than what the original plan was. You know what I mean? That
Sure,
doesn't mean things aren't gonna come out still and everything. And I just don't know. I don't know their marketing team or whatever when they've planned to schedule that, but obviously there's like some adjusting that's going on, so they're kind of waiting, you
sure.
know. But I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it could come out this weekend for all I know.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, I mean, when I spoke with them about going to film with them, and I spoke with Jake Barber, had put me and my producer for the documentary in contact with their CEO, and I've been speaking, been emailing back and forth for about almost 6 weeks or so. No, 2 months. I guess it's been a couple months actually, trying for me to go. Well, a crew of us, not just me, a crew of us to go out and film with them, and yeah, ultimately it just couldn't work out because, as they put it, kind of they got some things going on and can't film right now with anybody, and kind of just left it at that. I didn't push it, and clearly, and we left everything copacetic and respectful, and they were totally courteous and totally professional the entire time,
Yeah.
with us, completely and open and honest and transparent, and we're very cool. So just being real, I didn't get any sense of shadiness or anything, to be honest with you, any sort of misleading, or everyone was cool, very responsive, answer any question, I don't know what more do you want from somebody, you know what I mean? Just being cool and at least considering it. And um it's not to say something couldn't happen in the future. from our end going to film because we left it open. But yeah, look, at the end of the day, it's just not enough information to have a real opinion. It's like if they did it, they're going to come out with the stuff and they'll show it, and we'll be excited, or they won't, and maybe we'll be pissed off, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, right? It's like it's just kind of it is what it is as far as that goes. Would I love to see footage of a UFO landing? Yes. Are you kidding me? I mean, it'd be insane. It would be absolutely insane.
I agree.
Did you guys see the like anonymous Reddit post that came out maybe like 2 to 3 weeks ago, basically saying that like everything got halted and people were made to sign NDAs and things like that?
Hmm.
For
I didn't see that.
Skywatcher?
Yeah, I covered it on my channel. Basically, like it was quite a long post, but the general idea of it was that they had gotten to a certain point and the people who were funding the project had but basically made everyone sign an NDA, and that what they had discovered at that point was now classified essentially, and that like things were now at a halt. And it kind of felt like the way I interpreted the post was that the people who were funding the project kind of got out of it what they wanted. Like Skywatcher team had extracted either information or technology or something, and that now that they had that, it was kind of like NDAs shut down, we're going to take that and no more. That's the vibe I got from the Reddit post. But people say Skywatcher came out and said that's not true, which is fair enough. But also this Reddit post was kind of like, you know, a whistleblow in a way. So it would make sense that if it's true or not, they're probably going to deny it. But the only reason I kind of put a bit of weight on it is the fact that there has just been nothing. Like we are kind of sitting here going, what is actually going on?
They could be temporary NDAs, right? Let's say they did, even for documentaries,
Could
they
be.
make people sign NDAs, right? Like the information's coming out, but hey, until this comes out, don't talk about it for the next 6 months or 8 months or 12 months. So that doesn't, to me, insinuate that they haven't accomplished something. And that basically what I'm saying is that doesn't eliminate transparency for me. It just could be delaying it. And look, rightfully so. If they did capture something and have all this data and all this stuff, and they're just trying to package it together in a certain way to present it, I can understand that. And even if I can't understand it, I can understand, at least put myself in the shoes to know that I just don't know enough information behind the scenes of what's going on, of why they might even make that decision, right? I literally would be shooting into the air trying to figure that out. So, but it could also be a red flag at the same time. If they signed, you know, lifetime NDAs and the all the data and information is shelved and will never be released to the public, I agree. That would be, trying to be diplomatic here. I would not be happy about that.
Yeah, it'd be
but
concerning.
It'd be concerning. There you go. But if it's a temporary one, which I would understand to some extent, I mean, I don't know. It's so weird. All this stuff kind of helps back up the claim that they did capture. So you know what I mean? Like they did do something and are gonna later come out with it. Like everything I'm hearing, no matter what it is kind of leading to that, which is interesting.
Temporary would be nice, and yeah, it would be good. But if we're to believe that Reddit post, like I said, it was quite long and extensive. It was essentially saying that like basically Skywatcher is no more. Like it's literally no more. So that's why I was kind of
That's not true.
Well, I mean, I've had people come back and say that, and I want to believe that. Like, you know, I want to see the UFO landing. You know what I mean? Of course. But then it's also kind of like, well, like, you know, where's this episode 3? Like, what is going on behind the scenes? And I'm not saying that there is anything sus going on, but it's just like based on the actual data that we can see, which is episode 1 and 2, and then nothing for a long time. I think it's kind of natural for people to be like, what the hell is going on there?
Absolutely.
And also, as you said, and Ross Coulthart has also said it as well, that they haven't, since day one, they haven't allowed any independent journalism or anyone out there to kind of just see what's going on, which could just be like a protection of their intellectual property, I guess, but it also could be something else. We just don't know.
Yeah, we just don't know. But I
Yeah.
mean, Skywatcher is not done. They're not over. That's
I hope not.
that no, they're not. I mean, that is for certain. Now, whether or not they landed a craft and have a UFO and can contact aliens, I'm not saying any of that. I don't fucking know. But I do know that Skywatcher is not like it's not over. I mean, just talk to the CEO. That's impossible, right? Like that doesn't make any sense. That Skywatcher is over now. Could Skywatcher have changed and they're moving in a direct? Yes, those are all different things. But as far as Skywatcher being over, I mean, I can confirm that is not true. But again, the rest of it, I have no. Clearly, I know as much as everybody. I haven't seen anything. So, but I think it's good to talk about all this. I think it's natural when people are left in the unknown. They're going to have questions, right? They're just going to have questions, and we all know the UFO community is very fervent about getting information and hearing all this stuff and finding out and rightfully so, right? I get it. A lot of claims, little evidence, and I get it. I totally understand.
Yeah, I would tend to. I think that the Reddit post from what you just read I think it partially agrees with what I say, what I've been saying, but I can't say whether or not everybody had to suddenly sign NDAs about everything that they did or just one incident or about a decision that they made going forward. And again, I can't say that there was like a landing or a capture or anything like that, but obviously, along with developing the psionic aspect of things, there's the whole technology aspect of the dog whistle that was being developed that was proprietary, that was like secret information of how they were doing that. So if you imagine the right people being there at the right time, then hypothetically, you wouldn't actually have to be 100% successful with a landing and capture and contact. You would just have to get really close with the right people there witnessing it to where they're convinced enough, and then what you've done is close enough that other people decide they want to take it to the finish line, under more controlled circumstances or whatever. But that's just when I wrap my head around it, and when I can't fathom when, as much as I know about the guys that are on Team Skywatcher, from day one, when I realized who they are and looked into them, I thought these guys aren't going to fail, because I don't even hardly know what I'm doing. And I've gone out and haphazardly had success with this kind of stuff, just experimenting on my own, but some of the friends that I have, from Skywatcher and that have been around them, they're literally some of the people that I would on this planet trust with my life. And so I just don't see them failing and the team dissolving due to failure. I see them, my hope is that they're just at a point where they actually achieved a certain level of success earlier than they anticipated. And so now they're having to make a decision of how to move forward. And that takes a little bit of time because there's a lot of logistics about that. Because if this is real, then we're all moving into totally uncharted territory at a certain level where there's aspects of this that are being allowed to be done in public and being allowed to talk about. Because up until now, it's all secret, nobody's allowed to even share anything. So I don't know. I mean, just even 3 years ago, when you try to talk to some of these guys about remote viewing and the psychic aspect of this, they refused to even talk about it. And now all that's on the table and it's all kind of coming forward and being validated from every level as being a real thing. And so it's just, to me, it's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
It did feel like the whole psionic aspect of things was I mean, when Jake Barber came out on News Nation, the whole egg retrieval video was like the big story. But I think for me, the big takeaway was actually the psionic aspect. Like that's when that word sort of really broke into the main narrative. And like what you just said, Carl, 3 years ago, they wouldn't even talk about it. I'm curious to know what both of you think. Like, do you think that there has perhaps been a slow strategic rollout plan of all of this information about just disclosure as a whole, and psionics is probably one aspect of that. Do you think maybe from like 2017 there's been like a 10-year rollout plan to just slowly begin to get people adjusted to a whole new paradigm and way of thinking, and now we're just up to psionics and just getting beyond that?
I think it's been really hard for the people inside the programs to even talk to each other until recently. And so they've been people involved in different aspects of it, whether it be the remote viewing or the psionic side of it, but they haven't been able to talk to the helicopter pilot, and they haven't been able to talk to the other guy over here. And now, because of the internet and all the different ways that they have to talk and meet up, they're connecting the dots, from a distance, and then finding ways to meet each other, and all the puzzle pieces are coming together for even the guys inside the programs, because it's just like it's not like they're all going out as a unified team. I think Skywatcher coming forward is the first like public attempt to try to do that. But even Jake Barber said that when he was a helicopter pilot to go do retrievals, he never was working on the ground or knew any of the psionic people. He just found out that they were involved later. He met some of those guys later on and was like, oh, that's what we were doing, and so some of this is all in hindsight for even them. And then we're even more hindsight because we're trying to see what they're figuring out and try to figure out what's real and what's not,
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So you obviously know like Jake Barber or a lot of the Skywatcher team, Carl?
I know, I know a few of the members of Skywatcher, and I've personally worked in the past with a couple specifically, but I'd rather not ask too many, answer too many questions about that, just because people will dig and dig and dig through everything I've ever done to find something. And
Yeah.
my sources and friends are really important to me there.
For sure. I think you'll be okay with this question. I feel like a lot of people are probably thinking this as well. Why do you think like Skywatcher are able to do this sort of like unimpeded?
Well, only up to a certain point, obviously. And then it can't they didn't they were impeded apparently. That's why everybody's wondering what's going on and where they went, whether
Makes
that
sense.
how you define impeded, but yeah, or just changed or affected, but I'm just of the position where I think it was because they actually were successful at a certain level, and then it was just the necessary step that occurred right then. We felt
Yeah.
the same way. Again, when I was working on the project over in Nevada, there was several moments where we had private conversation as a crew. We're like, what are we going to do if trucks roll up here with guns or helicopters and they tell us to stop because we're getting too close? Because we had people getting phone calls, we had all kinds of weird stuff, and people show up that were embedded that used to be in the CIA and all this stuff. And so we had to have like, private talks in the kitchen where we were going to decide what to do if that happened. We were going to fight and just was I going to live stream and try to show what we found and get it all out there and risk getting arrested over that, or were we going to try to play nice and let them move in and take over the situation or whatever? I know it sounds dramatic like I'm talking about a movie, but that really happened. I'm talking about entire producers from the History Channel, from A&E Networks, and I mean, there was like a whole meeting where we were wondering, hey, if this is real and we actually discover something here tonight, like we have to know what to do if we're told to stop. Cause like, so it's not like that stuff happens. Like if you get close to something real. So that's why when I see what's going on with Skywatcher, I'm like, oh, obviously the things that I've heard like probably happened.
Yeah.
And that explains a lot. Suddenly the puzzle pieces fit together with them. You're like, now that's why they're taking so long,
Yeah. All right, great. This is a great conversation, guys. And thank you to everyone watching and hanging out with us. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time. Look, there's a couple questions for each of y'all. Okay, so I want to get to those, some super chats. So, Josh, this is a question for you, brother. It says, question for Josh. What are your views about the reports of the Pentagon and a select few from NASA believe that the phenomena is more demonic than extraterrestrial?
It's a pretty broad question, I guess. My thoughts on it are not super concise because I think one thing that I always say about disclosure and this whole topic is that I think both could be real. Like, I think we could have ETs that have physical bodies that potentially like that exist here. But I also do believe in like the supernatural realm, and I do believe in demonic forces. So both of those things could be real, and we may not even be talking about the same thing. But I think it does seem like it does seem like the people who are, at the top pulling the strings, whether they're at NASA, the Pentagon, or whatever, or even people, we don't know. It seems like the occult world does deeply believe in like the religious aspect through whatever framework, but the people at the top do believe in the supernatural. It seems like, so that doesn't surprise me that they look at it in that lens. And do I think that there's something to it? Yes, probably. I think that's why these like rituals and practices have been done for, decades, if not centuries. The occult goes back a long way. But I think the real question is, are they the same thing? Are the UFOs that are being summoned by Skywatcher the same thing as like the entities being summoned by Jack Parsons and Aleister Crowley in the desert? Are they the same thing, or are they two different parts of the broader phenomenon? That I'm
Yeah.
not sure, but I think, yeah, I believe that dark entities and ETs could be happening at the same time for sure.
Right on. Carl, did you want to add anything to that? I don't know.
I think if everybody wants my full answer on that, they should wait for your documentary to come out, because I mean, we talked about that for a long time, kind of my answer
Sure.
at different levels. But ultimately,
Yeah.
I approach all this with the understanding that everything, even the ultimate fabric of reality, is built upon consciousness and awareness. And everything that occurs, there has to be a witness of someone there that is the observer and the understander of what's going on, the person that sees it and gets what's happening. And if that isn't there, then it's like it doesn't occur at all. And so to me, underneath it all, if they're demons coming from the underworld or spirit entities or aliens, from another dimension or outer space, they all have to appear ultimately within you as the one who sees it and experiences it. And that's always going to be the case every time, no matter what it is. So to me, that's the common denominator. And that's what all the psionic friends that I have discuss all the time, those sorts of aspects, and that connection with manifestation and quantum entanglement. We're all talking about hyper levels of the observer effect, like instant manifestation and communication and stuff with this phenomena. So I have a belief that's a no fear kind of attitude, where none of this stuff, even if it is demons, then these are my demons. They're just representations of my own subconscious problems that now here they are, and it's time to face them. And to me, that's kind of the same with all of this, and that philosophy has served me well so far.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
that's that. Sorry, can
No.
I add on to that?
Yeah. Go ahead, Josh, please.
Yeah, that's super interesting, Carl, because I've sort of thought the same thing as well. Because we hear a lot that like you see the world as you are, like our reality is basically just a mirror of ourselves, essentially. And it makes me wonder that when people are doing these rituals, whether it's like psionics, whether it's like, occult practices to contact interdimensional entities, are we just going to, when people do this, is the result or whatever looks back at us actually going to just be a reflection of our own state of consciousness? I.e., if you're doing this from like a low vibrational place, like with, poor intentions, or you've got a negative out view of the world, you're going to get something dark that kind of manifests back at you. Whereas if you are coming from a place of love, light, all the good things, you're going to have a positive experience, but it's all through the same method. You just kind of get yourself staring back at you in another dimension, perhaps.
I agree, and I would say even at an extreme level, that's why people wonder, well, why are the UAP that Skywatcher is summoning? Why do they look like floating brains or blobs or an egg or these strange organic shapes? It's like, well, if they're coming from focused subconscious minds and they're manifesting, and it's a form of communication from the universe itself, uh, mirroring itself back at us, then you have a bunch of psionic assets focusing their inner subconscious. And of course, you would have UFOs appearing like a brain or a pineal gland or the third ventricle or all kinds of strange organic and sacred geometric shapes. And it's all just different levels, like you said, looking into the cosmic mirror. But it's a different story, like you said, if one comes down and lands and you can go up and touch it. What does that mean about reality and who we are and what has actually been going on this whole time? And is that a kind of a secret that people know that they want to keep a secret? Because that's dangerous. If, as a humanity and as human consciousness, we realize that everything is made about, is built on our own minds and our own intuition and our own expectations, like instant manifestation, then when we all wake up to that, that may sort of lift a kind of veil, you know, where that we
100%.
all be under.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so fascinating. Yeah, Carl, I remember us out there filming and talking and just whatever, all the conversations we had. And I was absolutely fascinated by your theories and the way you looked at everything. And I told you that in the moment, right? I'd never heard any of this. And it was so fascinating and unique to everyone else I had spoken to, still up to this point, filming for the documentary. And yeah, man, and you express it so eloquently, and you really explain it and digest. You know, it's easy, it's you make it digestible for people. So, yeah, man, that's a fascinating theory and idea. And you know, the more I think about it, the more I think that could be it.
We'll see, right? We'll see.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh-huh.
no, but it's very interesting and kind of logical when you really start to think about it, and I do find it fascinating.
I
Okay, Carl, I
appreciate you
gotta.
saying those kind words, though, man. Yeah,
Oh,
thank you.
bro, absolutely. Are you kidding me? I want everyone to know I had a phenomenal time with Carl filming. He was nothing but a consummate gentleman, professional. He took time out of his day. I asked him to take me out to all these places. It's not like Carl drug me and Gino out to sit us down in the truck and then tell me these secrets that I would then put out. You know, I asked Carl to go out, right? He did me the favor to take time and us to go film, and we looked at a lot of shit, experienced a lot of shit, and I can't wait to share it all, for sure. Okay, Carl, this is something for you here. This is from Sudi. Carl, any updates on recent developments at Skinwalker Ranch? P.S. You're amazing.
Hmm.
Thank you, Sudi.
I don't know. Any specific questions about Skinwalker Ranch?
It just says recent developments. I don't know.
You know, I think there's a lot of emphasis in the current episodes. A new one probably just came out tonight, I think.
Well, I think you're right.
Tuesday
Actually,
night,
yeah,
right?
yeah, I think you're right.
But I would say there's going to be, you know, a lot of emphasis on the things that they're discovering underground, fragments and materials and testing as far as whether it's metamaterials. Um, yeah, just finding strange evidence of historical activities that they're uncovering there. And then also, I got to be careful what I can say and what I can't again. There's interesting stuff going on in astronomy. Like we have this, what is it, the 3-eye atlas thing going on, because so that's irrelevant to what I'm about to say, other than the fact that like there is like cosmic observations that are also happening. So I would guess that that's eventually going to come out, uh, if not this season, maybe next year. But there's
Interesting.
really interesting and strange stuff going on with the astronomy and things that seem to orbit uh in certain strange paths and interact with the ranch and the triangle area of Skinwalker. But yeah, so that's something cool to look forward to. But I think
Mhm.
I'm excited. I think that the team there is really cool. Next week I'm going to be up there hanging out with them all week at Phenomicon. So up in Vernal, they're doing a whole convention. So Caleb and a bunch of them, Jay Stratton's going to be there. I haven't met Jay yet, but yeah, I talk to Caleb once in a while and Bryant, Dragon, and those guys.
Yeah.
So we'll see if I get to go out with them this next week or not. But
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. Yeah, I've had Brandon on the show last summer, and he was a great guy, really nice. And one thing I took away is he's very passionate. He's very passionate, and he believes in what he's doing. And what more do you want from somebody? As far as is everything coming out of there what it is? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know any of that stuff. All I know is he cares, and he's very passionate, and he's very smart, and I just don't know what else you want out of someone, doing something. So yeah,
I'll say this, not specifically about Skinwalker Ranch, but in the Uinta Basin in general, in that region,
in
there
that
is a
area,
lot
yeah,
going on. There's a
yeah,
lot going on. There's a whole separate research site that I work at called Thunderstrike Ranch that's in the same county, just north, maybe like 15 miles north of Skinwalker. And I mean, we're looking into next year bringing Dr. Jim Segala's entire modular sensor system up there and maybe hopefully putting in an outdoor system. And then I'll just say this, that my goal for next year, this is why I'm confident in saying what I'm saying. My goal for next year is to try and bring the Skywatcher team to Thunderstrike Ranch and to be able to work with them there and do something with them and Dr. Segala and Mupas. And I still have hopes that that's possible. Like I think that we could do that. I think that um, yeah, I'm not that worried. So I would love to set up an actual place that's not private. You know, it might be private owned, but it's a place where people could actually go and stay there themselves, and that I could be there. People from the Skywatcher team or others could actually be there. The media can come. The whole point is to have this happen and to have it come out and be public, and to have it stop getting stonewalled.
yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot going on in the Uinta Basin and around, and a lot of things moving around Skinwalker Ranch, kind of as a central hub for sure.
Tell us just for the audience listening. Jim Segala stuff. It's called Mupas. I mean, I looked into this and we talked about it as well. And but yeah, let's just quickly, what exactly is that?
Yeah, MUPAS is it's the Modular Unidentified Phenomena Alert System. So I didn't come up with that name, but they they came up with that. It's basically
Yeah,
a we talked a minute ago about the Hal Puthoff at Stanford Research Institute. They were doing all the remote viewing experiments. And the reason they got scooped up and became a valid psychic spy program for Project Stargate and Grill Flame and all those happened
yeah,
was because they were able to use magnetometers, um, EEG sensors like infrasound, and all these different uh, pieces of equipment to measure if there's actual effects in psychic activity or paranormal contact. So they were doing all these experiments with like Uri Geller and all these other psychic spies. And the whole point is when you do remote viewing or psionic experiments, can you change the effects on this magnetometer, like the magnetic readings of this sensor? Anyway, back in the day in the 70s and 80s, those pieces of equipment used to be these huge boxes that like took up a whole room just for one piece of equipment. But now you can get all of that stuff made really, really small, like these small microchips. So Dr. Segala actually worked with Hal Puthoff, and they worked with Gary Nolan and Kit Green and a lot of those guys, and they were at Skinwalker Ranch right before Brandon Fugel bought the property. And what Dr. Jim Segala did was he built the sensors that were mobile and could be put in people's homes or out on the ranch to actually catch the evidence of paranormal activity or UFO contact. So people feel like they have sleep paralysis incident or they're being abducted by aliens or whatever. How do you prove that? You have to
Right.
have a device or a sensor in their home or like a watch that they can wear that can catch the proof of that, because otherwise all you have is a story. So that's what Dr. Segala did was he took like 15 different sensors and combined them all into one device and then built a website with an algorithm that can filter through all of that. So basically, yeah, there's now like over 300 of these devices all over the world. I've got one in my kitchen right here, but we have them in Norway. We have one in Rendlesham Forest, a lot of hotspots, and we've got several up around Skinwalker Ranch. And we're measuring and capturing not only the scientific data of these incidents, but also the people having the experiences are able to get up and log their journal entries in. And then Dr. Segala and the algorithm can match that up with the data. So, like, if somebody says, well, I swear that I saw an alien in my bedroom or some ghosts in my bedroom last night, they can actually look at the data and say, sure enough, right at 3 o'clock in the morning, there was a huge wave in gamma radiation, electromagnetic waves, and all of that. So you actually get the proof. It's not just, stories. And so now we've got all these professional, scientifically built devices put all over the place, and they're capturing data. And we even had a sponsor so that like anybody watching this that wanted to go get one could actually go fill out the survey and get one for free, and you don't even have to pay for it because uh, the sponsor is an experiencer, and they found a lot of validation in having uh, Dr. Segala's help and having the sensor in their home. So they're like, we should help other people. And they actually donated a bunch of money so that like up to 10,000 people can get a free device if they want to go fill out the survey and get one. But it's just our way, just like Skywatcher built the dog whistle. We're trying to more like catch things, the hitchhiker effect, stuff that follows you home, the paranormal activity that follows you back to your house. That's more like what we've built instead of like a Skywatcher built more like a bird whistle or a dog whistle, like a something to attract it. So
Sure.
just kind of a different angle. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I looked it up. Yeah. So stage one, it was I think 30 people. I think they'd said, and clearly you're probably one of them. And then stage two, they're looking for 10,000 people, and you can get a watch, a sort of like smartwatch looking thing, or a device, like you said. Um, and that's it. The only concern that I have, okay, is it is susceptible to people messing with it because there's no camera to record also the device to make, does that make sense? Like it's just recording data, but you don't know where the data is coming from, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. So there is a little bit of an honor system, and I hope people don't fuck with that. I'm sure the majority of people will treat it legitimately, but I hope there aren't some people that kind of, because it's susceptible to being messed with, unfortunately.
A little
You
bit.
know,
The way that you could mess with it, there's certain sensors that you definitely couldn't fake. Like there's no way you could fake a gamma radiation wave like in your own house, really. But like, uh,
the
but you could
microwave.
definitely you could affect the microwave. I mean, if you moved it around, and like if you even went up and bumped it and started moving around, you would affect the gyroscope and all that. But there is
Sure.
like advanced AI that's built in watching and all that data, and it can kind of catch if like someone's intentionally moving it around, and then you're going in and filling in to fake your entries and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That's why it matters to have 10,000 units so you can filter
Totally.
out all those outliers. You can get the incidents in the report that are not even connected and line all that up and
Sure.
have substantial data. But you're right, when the numbers are small, the data is going to be a little bit more weak that way. I agree.
Yeah, no, but they're trying to get more people, and I think that's great, and I'm glad you're a part of it. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, look, we're not going to go too much longer here, okay, guys. I don't want to. I know y'all have busy lives, okay. Um, but we'll just answer a few more questions from the chat and kind of wrap up here, okay. So we do have one question real quick here, Carl, for you. It says, Carl, can you explain any more about the dog whistle and it being a trailer with sensors? I believe you said that in the video, right? For people that don't know, I only played 10 seconds of the clip, but Carl and Gino and I talked for 12 minutes in that clip. Now, granted, we talked for much longer than that, but in that clip, and we talk about a lot of different things while we're having things happen, Carl, in the middle there. Like we hear animals and shit go on. We don't know what's going on. We just hear all kinds of weird.
Yeah, we heard
That
like
was a
footsteps walk up behind you and nobody's there.
Yeah.
Like, we had all
Yeah,
kinds of
yeah.
weird shit going on. Yeah.
Yeah, we did. That's why it was like people were like, Patrick, why didn't you ask better follow-up questions to Carl? I was like, dude, there was a lot going on. I'm sky watching. I got equipment all over the place. I'm running audio, film, this, that, the other. I'm making sure coyotes aren't coming up on my ass to rip the little ass I have. You know what I mean? I just and then we're sky watching. We're trying to capture that while we're talking. It's the in-between conversations we have when we see shit. So we would talk, oh shit, we see something, then we'd come back to what we were talking about. You just kind of, plus it's not an interrogation, y'all. I wasn't there to interrogate Carl. We're just hanging out, bullshitting, and everyone's telling stories and talking about stuff. And, that's how it was. But yeah, you did bring up this dog whistle, which so many people have been interested in. Yeah. I don't know what more you could say than
I
this,
don't
right?
know. I don't know exactly what it's made of. My understanding was that it is all mounted on a vehicle, like
Yeah.
a one that's mobile that they can move
Which you
around.
see it in the videos. You
Yeah,
can
I
see
think it's
the vehicle in the
that
Skywatcher
UTV
video.
that's like painted tan, desert
Yeah.
camo or whatever,
It's
and
got
it's
all the
got
shit
all
on
that.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I mean, if you could
Yeah.
analyze what that is, to me, it's it's probably a bunch of, radar, sky watching and scanning equipment to detect things, but ultimately a really expensive frequency modulator that allows you to directionally point at certain places, at a high level. Like the most that you and I could do is get like a portable speaker or big sound system and try to use apps and fake it. But there is, like uh almost stuff that you would use for non-lethal weapon systems that you could use as a frequency modulator, and basically you turn that down to some ultra low frequency wavelength that travels through the earth and uh, play with those frequencies at a certain level. But really, I mean, everybody does get hung up on the dog whistle, especially, I would say, government interest and financiers and people that want some kind of a piece of technology they can own or patent. But
Sure.
in my opinion, all of that stuff is predicated and doesn't work as much as the psionic team. Like the group of telepaths they're all predicting and saying when to turn the dog whistle on and off and all that. So to me, that's all secondary. Like they're going to be saying, yeah, okay, turn it on, do this, do that. And I think the way it really runs, you realize that intuition from the psionic assets is really the wind in the sails of what's going on there. And the dog whistle is more just like uh, just like a direct form of a contact or communication that's tangible. And it also, um, I personally think it also helps gel the consciousness of the team together. When you actually turn a device on like that, it sort of inadvertently has an effect on the team where you suddenly expect a result, or if there's anybody doubting what's going to happen, that kind of could go away and then the results show up, so I think there's layers of reasons why it works. But
You you kind of sounds like what you're saying there is almost that like the dog whistle in itself kind of creates not necessarily a placebo effect, but like it kind of influences the belief of the team. And is that what you're kind of getting at? That like once the team have this like perhaps placebo effect of belief, that like that belief
I think it
creates the manifestation?
I think it personally, I believe that it cultures that cultures the right atmosphere and environment on levels we might not even understand, almost cymatic vibrational levels of the brain and things that, yeah, has an opening up
Wow.
effect.
So,
Yeah.
so you're saying that this dog whistle, because I guess when it's spoken about to us, it's we literally, well, I think most of us think of it like an actual dog whistle, like you play the sound and it makes the thing react. But what you're saying is that this frequency actually affects the human mind as well, and you think the effect that it's having on the human mind, that has an effect on the summoning or manifestation.
Yeah, and again, I don't think that what's in the UAP or the UFO that hears the dog whistle is like some antenna or piece of technology that picks up on the signal. Again, I believe it's an amplification effect even for the consciousness of the UFO or the UAP or the occupants.
I mean,
So
that
it,
is so
Interesting.
different, right? Yeah, that's interesting because that's so different because, yeah, I think it's a lot of people thought it's what Josh is saying. And I'm not saying you're saying that's what it
it's
is,
too
Carl.
mechanical. I get it. You
Yeah,
think of like
yeah,
you're going to blow a whistle just like your bird calling, and then
yeah.
something up there with an eardrum is going to hear you. But we're talking about telepathy and tools to amplify telepathy. We're talking about craft and
So the
technology
dog whistle
to
is really
operate
for
with
the
telepathy.
psionic assets, right? The dog whistle is
And
really for the
and
psionic
the
assets,
UFOs
not.
are psionic. Like that's what we
It's
got to
Yeah,
remember.
interesting.
It's not like a fighter pilot up in there. The whole UFO, the UAP experience is all psionic. Yeah. The
yeah,
dog whistle fundamentally underneath it is affecting the consciousness of the pilot of the craft as much as it is the team on the ground. Yeah.
sure,
Yeah.
sure.
It's so
It's gotta
interesting
be
when you
both. It's
consider
both. Yeah.
It's both. Okay, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. Yeah, it helps the
that
psionic assets get in a better mindset, and particularly, yeah, just a better mindset, better environment to be able to do what they do, amplify what they do, but it also goes out to the object itself.
Yeah. It's the same kind of thing that you would, the same kind of attempt that you would have if you were a monk in a Buddhist temple and you're ringing a gong and everybody's chanting in unison. Is same kind of an effect. We're just talking about instead of using ancient shamanistic methods, we've got technology going on. So now we've got like techno shamans or psionics instead of using these ancient shamanistic methods. This we're got technology and it's like a gun on a truck. You know, it
Yeah,
sounds
so it's like
weird, but that's just where
exactly
we're
what
at.
the gateway tapes are.
Yeah,
Don't you
yeah.
think?
It's
It's the
no
gateway tapes. It's frequencies in the mind that help you project your consciousness. It's like the same
pointed
thing.
yeah,
pointed
yeah.
directionally right at an event that's predicted. But again, the driver of all this is the consciousness. The psionic side is,
The
yeah. I don't
consciousness.
think the dog whistle is gonna. If what happened is some contractors came and bought the dog whistle, and that's why all this weird stuff's going on, they're gonna
No
have to
problem.
figure. Yeah, they're gonna have to figure out that the dog whistle is only like a
Part
third
of it.
of as effective without the whole rest of the team there. You know
And
what I mean?
yeah, no, absolutely. And let's not forget, if I remember in that same conversation we had, Carl, and from the clip that I showed, um, you said that the psionic assets predicted the landing the day before this happened. They knew that they were going to have this moment, which is interesting. Like, I didn't know psionics had, like, would you consider that like the power of premonition, fortune telling, to sort of future? I don't know. What's the,
Yeah, just like when I said like human consciousness reaches a certain point, that veil will be lifted. There's just those glimpses or moments where space-time kind of unfolds, or this idea of the future being something over here that we're headed towards off in the distance that we're not there yet. All of that suddenly doesn't matter. And it's just like you might call it a download or whatever. We struggle to have the words for it. Yeah, a
sure.
premonition or a vision or a download or whatever. But imagine working on a team of like elite professionals and soldiers that are dialed into this stuff. You know what I mean? At a really elite level on almost every aspect of life, these guys are dialed in. You know what I mean? The
Yeah,
best of the best. And then you put them on a task like this, or they have their own experiences and they get caught up in it, just like, uh, they just they're the best at this too. They're just the best. And so
Sure.
I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that, other than just the ability to, when you get involved in psionics, we talked about this in your documentary a lot. The big pitfall everybody runs into is you're hoping to see something, you want to see something, and so then subconsciously you're just projecting this energy of it not being there, of wanting and hoping and wanting and hoping and not having it. So you're really just energetically putting out this feeling of lacking and it not being there forever. And
It's a
when
law
you,
of attraction, right?
yeah, man. And then when you get these guys that know better, or they've been through things and they've seen things, and they're just built different. And these guys are elite and they're built different, and they've had experiences like Jake Barber, his experiences. So for them, it's like they get together and they get talking and they get on a project and there's just no doubt. Whereas when we go out together, we're hanging out, we're worried about the beer in the cooler, whatever, half of the time, and we get uncomfortable. But these guys are just pros, and we forget that sometimes. And so I think, yeah, some of the stuff that we get hung up on, for them, they're just like a natural at. They lock in and they just know that it's a fact.
Yeah.
And then it happens. And if it's all based on manifestation, then imagine an elite special forces team of people that understand how that works and what they could do.
Look, for me, it sounds great. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm open to it.
Is that what
I
you guys were doing
I
in
still
that
want to
clip?
see the proof of it. What we were doing? What
Yeah, like
Carl
in
and
that clip
Gino know?
where you guys were filming, obviously you guys were sky watching, like prior
Yeah.
to obviously the clip that was played, were you guys like engaging in some kind of like CE5, or like were you doing something to try and bring something into film?
Yeah, yeah, we were out there. We yeah, absolutely. That was the whole point for us to go for
L-
that particular
Yeah,
excursion. That was a part of it at the end. I mean, Carl gave us a tour and showed us a bunch of other things, and then we ended in sky watching and yeah, trying to perform. I try to avoid the word
CE5.
CE5. Well, I try to avoid the word C5 just because that's Stephen Greer's
Yeah.
word, but
Yeah, fair.
psionics. Yeah, we tried
Yeah,
psionics. We tried to summon. Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
We
nice.
did. Yeah.
We spent the whole day basically going to, like, up and down an ancient sacred canyon that is known for a lot of sightings, paranormal activity, indigenous ritual activity, cult activity,
That's
mysterious
awesome.
deaths, and all that. So we just went right down into the heart of it, sat them right through it, went through all the ancient history of all of it, and then went back at night and stayed after dark and looked for these ghost lights to appear, which you totally saw with your own eyes, right, Patrick? You saw it, right? The
I
ghost
saw
lights
I
on the hills.
I saw a lot of interesting things there for
Yeah,
sure.
whatever they are. Yeah.
There's no doubt that I saw I saw things. What do you want me to say? I did.
And
I
that
did.
was Zion National Park, you said that was?
Pretty close.
Near
Yeah, just
there. Near there.
southwest, and just southwest of St. George. We went up a spot called the Anasazi Trail. Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
right on the
No.
border of Nevada. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was I can't help but think, Carl, this is where we should kind of sign off here is tell the story. We'll tell the story of what happened when we got there that night. Remember that? You know exactly what I'm talking about.
We all pull up. Patrick's got his camera rolling. He's like, we're all documentary mode. He's filming me. And we pull up and we're like, okay, we got to have this whole place to ourselves. Like, it's pretty secret down in here. So we pull into park. I'm like, we'll go back here because there's never anybody over here. So we pull back, go across the bridge. Patrick's filming the whole time. And all of a sudden his camera just lifts up and starts pointing out the window of the truck. And I look over, and the back of this little red car that was back there was wide open. And it was just two people in there completely nude, and they were just going at it full. and we just got full moon from and Patrick just
Hell yeah.
zooms his camera in and films it. And we all lost it. We were laughing so hard.
Dude, they're doing sex magic rituals out in the desert.
Oh, bro. It was
Yeah.
so funny. I'm telling you, I laughed so hard. And no joke, Carl, when Gino and I got back to the Airbnb, that's the first thing we looked at. We immediately got the camera out, pulled it. We were like, what the fuck? And we were going frame by frame. I mean, you just see everything. You see everything.
Oh, I can imagine.
Everything. And
Well,
you see
they
this
didn't
guy.
stop. They didn't
Yeah,
stop
they
when
didn't
we
stop. I
showed
mean,
up. They just
Oh,
kept
damn.
going.
They were
did
going
not
at
care.
it, bro.
I respect
And
that.
the dude turned. You can see the dude turn in the camera because I'm zooming in. I mean, you get the whole thing. He just turns like, holy shit, because of the, headlights in the back of their car. You know what I mean? Just legs up,
Yeah.
woman's legs up in the air. I mean, just going at it.
He turned and
And-
looked right at us and didn't
Oh,
stop.
bro.
Didn't miss a beat.
I just the
looked you in the
last
eye?
thing I was expecting to see. Yeah, he looked us in the eye. It
Right
was the
at us.
last thing I was expecting to see in that moment. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it just was not expecting that.
It was completely
That's
opposite of what we were just headed to do. It was so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And they left immediately. Like we went and parked, and I remember we got out and we're putting our back, getting all the shit, and they just fly by us. Like they probably thought we were cops. I think we were talking about that later. Like they might have thought we were cops or something. I don't know. You just see headlights, right? And you think you're in a remote area where nobody's gonna come up and
Yeah.
catch you with your shorts down.
And of all the people to pull up on him, it's us.
It's us.
Filming a documentary with
Yeah.
a camera
I mean,
recording live. Yeah.
horrible,
funny.
horrible luck for them. Like legitimately, really bad luck. Yeah, but I thought that was a fun, a fun part of the
That was
trip. But
funny.
yeah, good story to end on here. Well, look, guys, before we go, just real quickly, is there anything, any last little thoughts or this that you want to get out here? I want to make sure I don't cut anybody off or make sure I didn't kneecap anybody here. Any thought
No,
or
I
anything?
think
We're
I'm
good.
good.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it was nice to meet you, Carl. Nice talking to you, man.
Hey, you too,
Yeah.
Josh. Good to meet you.
Well, look, let me throw y'all some love here before we go. Carl, if you're not familiar with Josh, he's got a show called Polarity, great YouTube channel. I highly recommend checking it out, man. It's right up your alley. What
Nice.
he talks about, what he covers, he does such a great job. I put links down below to support Carl's channel and Josh's channel. So please, guys, if you're not already subscribed or watching their stuff, please go check it out. It's down in the description. Highly recommend it. Carl's such a great guy. Highly recommend following what he does. Same thing with Josh. I like hanging out and talking with good, respectable people, no matter what their opinions are on UFOs or aliens. It's not how I judge people. I like real people, and Carl and Josh to me are just real people. And I just really appreciate that. This phenomena is a lot to take in for a lot of people. Depending on the amount of time you have in your life, maybe you're working 3 jobs and you're taking care of your kids, and then you don't have the time to put into this maybe as much as you would like. So I'm just eternally grateful for the time and effort I have to put into it. But it's why I don't judge people of what they think about the phenomena as if they're a good person or not. And I see that so much online, and it absolutely destroys me because I just don't get it. How people can judge someone's character on that rather than who they are as a person and how they treat their fellow man, right? So I just want to thank both of you guys for just being gentlemen and being so good at what you do. So I think it's a privilege for the community to have y'all and an honor. And just stoked for what both of you guys have coming up. And I just want to thank y'all both for taking the time out of your day, night to jump on here and hang out with Vetters and us. And I just really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks, man.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Oh, absolutely. Always. Okay, guys. Love y'all so much. Thank you, Vetters, for watching and hanging out. Y'all rock as always. Couldn't do this without y'all. Otherwise, it would just be me talking to myself, which does happen as well. But every once in a while, I turn on the camera. so y'all can see it. So I want to thank the mods for hanging out. Allie, Heiser, thank y'all so much for doing what you're doing. All the members, really appreciate y'all. We'll see you on the next one. Again, check out those links for Carl and Josh. All right, betters, remember, every day's a gift. Peace.